Welcome to another video for Compliance and Ethics Ideas and Answers. I'm Adam Balfour. I'm one of the editors of Ideas and Answers. We are now just a couple of weeks away from the SCCE's 22nd Annual Compliance and Ethics Institute. It's going to be taking place this year in person in Chicago from October 2nd to the 5th. And virtual attendees can also join a number of the sessions from October 3rd to the 5th. And today I'm joined by Rebecca, Joe, and Amy, and we're going to be previewing some of their wonderful sessions that we're going to be able to see and learn from at CEI. So Joe and Amy, you both presented last year. You had a great session. You're coming back. You're teaming up again this year. Can you tell us a little bit about your session? When's it taking place? What are you going to cover?
Sure. Well, I'll cover a little bit about it first, and I'll talk a bit about the substance. And we're asking a really provocative question. Do enforcers really care about compliance programs? And we'll start first by talking about what the government says about compliance programs. And of course, there's a lot there. There's some detailed guidance from the United States Department of Justice. Other government authorities around the world have given guidance. Generally, this tends to be consistent because we're really talking about how you manage companies to prevent misconduct. Some governments say they don't give you credit for compliance programs, some do. And the Department of Justice, both the Criminal Division and the Antitrust Division, give detailed guidance on what questions they're asking about compliance programs. Then there's also the question, though, of how much this matters. That is, what credit, what benefit does the government give you about compliance programs? And this can range. They can decide not to prosecute your company. They can do what's been done in some cases where they only go after an individual. They might elect to take a case civil rather than criminal. There might be some alternative settlement process, so you don't have to go through litigation. They may say if you're a government contractor, you get to keep doing business with the government. There may be reduced financial penalties, or at least they might decide you don't need a monitor. And these decisions can all be affected by whether you have a compliance program. And I'll let Amy take it from here.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about what the cases tell us. There aren't very many, but we're going to be talking about the power of stories and the cases that do exist and how we can leverage those to support our compliance programs, get the resources we need. And then we'll be talking to the audience about their compliance philosophy, how they use it, and some recent examples that we think can be helpful to people in terms of using this. And we think that this will be helpful for people when they need to make the tough compliance asks, and supporting the reasons that we need a compliance and ethics program.
That sounds like
in terms of the date and timing, because I had to pause here to check it on my calendar. It's October the 3rd, of course, Chicago time, from 1:30 to 2:30.
That's great. It sounds like it's going to be a great session. And Amy, I'm assuming you're going to be wearing running shoes to this go, because straight after that on the Tuesday, you are running to present another session with our good friend Mel Spoonholtz. So what are you and Mel going to be covering? Can you tell us about that session as well?
Yeah, I'm happy to. So right at 3 o'clock, I get a little bit of a break, a breather, probably to run, God knows where it is in Chicago, at the Hyatt. But we are doing a session on show me the money, getting paid what you're worth. And so this is going to be a really fun conversation. As we all know, most of us in compliance probably feel like we do a good job and might earn a little bit more money or need more negotiating support. So Mel and I are there to talk about identifying and preparing for the 5 key elements that get you promoted, kind of putting everything together, the planful part of a negotiation. And then we're going to talk about negotiating tips and strategies for mastering the ask and what not to do in terms of hurting your relationships, because there's a fine line with some of that. And then also we're going to talk about, as you all know, in compliance, we're often asked to just take on additional responsibilities such as ESG, or sometimes some of my clients even have facilities and other things that they're asked to do. And that's fine, but we need resources or we need to get paid more. And so we're going to also talk about navigating those tricky conversations when you're asked to do more responsibility, but you're not necessarily given the title or the money to do the extra work.
That sounds like a great session. That's one of the things I love about CEI. You get some of the more kind of technical sessions focused on laws and aspects of compliance. And then you get sessions like this, which I think are just so useful for each of us as we kind of build and manage our careers. So that sounds like a great session. Of course, it would not be CEI without Rebecca Walker presenting, and thankfully Rebecca's presenting this year as well. Rebecca, what are you going to be presenting on, and who's the target audience for your session?
Thank you, Adam. First of all, I'm very excited to see Joe and Amy's session and Amy's session. So all good stuff. And then I'm going to be presenting on Wednesday at, I think, 12:15 p.m. with Stephen Geisley from Marathon Oil. He's their compliance counsel. And we are going to be talking about compliance program assessments from both in-house counsel and outside counsel perspective. The target audience is really anybody who is certainly in-house compliance professionals who might want to subject their program to a program assessment, but also outside counsel and outside compliance professionals who conduct program assessments. We'd love to have those folks as well come contribute to the session. We'll be talking about sort of from a practical perspective, what are the steps in conducting an assessment? What are some of the outcomes that you might anticipate? How you report the results of an assessment to the board and senior leadership. It's really just sort of walking through program assessments from both in-house and outside counsel perspectives.
Having those two perspectives just really makes it, I think, so much more practical and exciting. So that sounds like another great session. So that was just a quick preview of 3 of the many sessions that are going to be available at CEI this year. Of course, if you're attending CEI, make sure to come say hi to each of us. And also, if you're speaking at CEI, or if you're attending and you want to write a short article for ideas and answers, reach out to us and let us know. But we hope to see you in Chicago, and we hope you enjoy the sessions you've heard about and the rest of them.
Thanks, Adam.
No, thank you all.